Culture shock on my show. You guys have done everything from, releasing the most insane collaborations. You've also totally rocked it at Times Square. Tell me about that experience.
Probably one of the greatest experiences of my life and my career. You're sitting there listening to everybody. They're screaming your name. Culture shock, Lomaticc, Sunny Brown. It's just unreal. It's just one of those moments. It's so surreal that to this moment I still get chills thinking about it when you're talking about it right now.
And how did you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, like, as a musician, that's a dream come true. That many people in front of you singing your lyrics and your songs that you spent the time to make in the studio with these guys together. I mean, what else do you need, right?
How about you, darling?
Being a Bollywood junkie,
yeah,
I was on the stage with Ranbir Kapoor, Rishi Kapoor, Shankar Mahadevan.
Oh,
it was a dream come true for me. I wanted to cry while I was performing, I had the time of my life, and I think it was one of the biggest opportunities we got, and I thank God and I thank our fans and everybody for making it happen. It was amazing.
How did you guys get that opportunity?
What happens is people are like, they've heard our name, Culture Shock, and people, we've toured around the world. I mean, there's so many places we've toured around the world, Europe, North America, India and all that stuff. So we've done all that stuff. So I think it was a natural fit. I think it was the Tourism Board of India that wanted a fusion sound to mesh into New York, right? So they're like, what's a North American sound that can do that? And who did they call? The boys. It's Culture Shock. So they called us. We were their initial person that they called us initially to do it. So we were honored to be a part of that, and that people from India were asking for us to be at Times Square. So it was a huge moment for us.
And it's not the only huge moment you guys have had. You've done some serious collaborations. Yes. Talk to us about that, darling.
We worked with so many artists: Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, Nicole Scherzinger. She's my favorite.
We had her on the cover,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And we did official remix with these artists. We actually worked with them. Lady Gaga actually used our song to perform on F1 in India, and it was our song that she was performing on.
So these collaborations with these A-list mainstream artists, how did that all come about? Was that something that was a part of your plan, or did it just happen organically?
Yeah, I would say organically. Like he was saying before, when you show real passion and real dedication towards your music, you get to meet the right people. Through this musical journey, you meet the right people that you want to meet to help you get to the next level. And I think our music just resonated with the right people, and we got to meet the people that we wanted to work with, and we got to, the biggest stars we got to work with.
It was cool. I mean, the way it kicked off for us is, like, our careers, I don't think were ever set in stone. We just there's a way how we got developed, and that's a story in itself, but as that started developing, I mean, the first remix we ever did was a contest, and I remember we were talking about it, and, someone called us and said, hey, we want you to do a remix, and I'm like, okay, do you have, and it's not arrogance, so please don't take it as arrogance, it's confidence. I was so confident in the way we produced and we did stuff, and they said, you're gonna go against 5 other people. I'm like, okay, just sign the check for us. And he laughed. I'm like, no, I'm serious, just sign the check for us, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love your attitude, but you're going against the big producers. I said, I know, but our sound is so different and unique, we'll win. A week later, yeah, you guys have won. And then from that deployment on record labels were like, these guys have got a really good sound. Next was Rihanna, and then moving forward from that.
So what do you guys hope to do now moving forward in terms of the world of collaboration before we get into everything else fabulous that you guys do?
We're actually working on an original song with Lil Jon. Yeah. Then we have Sean Kingston, we're making original songs. So from remixes, now we're going on the original stuff.
Yes, the original stuff.
And we have a couple of other artists that we're going to work on this too. 2014, it's our year. We have hashtag Culture Shock 2014 because we have so many collaboration, we have so many new music. I have Sunny Brown solo album, Lomaticc has Lomaticc solo album, then we have Culture Shock album. It's just insane.
So what are we going to have from you guys this year that perhaps may be different or even more elevated than what you guys have already done, which is pretty damn, brilliant? And so how do you kind of take it to the next level?
We're actually getting those mainstream celebrities to sing Punjabi.
Oh my God. Oh, that is insane. Nobody's done that.
Yeah, so we're doing that. We actually have Lil Jon rapping in Punjabi on the song.
It's kind of cool. Sunny Brown had to coach him through it a couple of times. Exactly. It's pronounced this way. It's pronounced that way. Yeah! No. It's pronounced this way.
So like there's a word called talli, getting drunk.
Yes.
And he would just not get it. And I was on the phone, I'm like, bro, it's talli, not tali.
He's like, I want to be real. So Sunny's like, if you want to be real, pronounce it real, man.
So I want to go right back to the beginning. We've got legendary DJ here, fabulous soul singer, just this great R&B vibe that you have with your voice, and the Punjabi in the house. How did you guys all come together, first of all? And then second of all, how did you make it all mesh the way that you have?
I think it was SPG Universal that got this guy. They wanted to do a compilation, East and Western compilation, right? So Bubba was like, well, first of all, he produces as well. So he was like, rather than just make a compilation, why don't we make original songs, right?
Yep.
So I was emailing him nonstop this entire time saying, man,
listen to me. This kid's a producer, writer. He does everything on his own. So he was sending me stuff, and I would listen to the stuff.
Yeah.
But you're just
you would
busy.
disregard the stuff as well.
Disregard some of it.
Right? So, but like our career, perseverance, right? So every day I was emailing this guy saying, listen to me, trust me, you want me on this team. so eventually he said fine, and he did like the sound. We sat together in the studio, we said, look, this is good stuff. And then I introduced him to Sunny Brown, who's my close friend. I said, listen, you want a Punjabi vocalist? This is the man. You need to listen to this guy. And it was love at first sight.
Yeah, when I heard his voice, I was like, I'm in love with this guy. I have a man crush on this guy.
To the point where I almost got jealous a little bit, because I was like, I knew you first. But, got over it. Get over it.
Well, I've got a woman crush on all three of you guys.
Good.
You guys are totally different from each other.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about all three of you. Before you came together for Culture Shock, and then we'll talk a little bit more about kind of where we're going with your sound, and why people should care about it. Because we know, but I want to know what you guys are going to say about it. So, as individual artists, I already know the story of Baba Khan. You and I have had tons of fabulous chats together.
Yep.
We've done an OC before.
Yeah.
Tell me about your story. Why did you go for the type of music you did, which was the perfect choice for you because you got the voice for it.
Yeah.
Where did that story start for you?
Well, I got into music from a really young age. My parents got me my first keyboard when I was 4. So since then, I think when you have something in your life and you're hooked, this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. That little keyboard was my initial, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing. I was 4 or 5.
Wow.
So since then, it was just natural. I used to get up every day. I learned to play. I taught myself how to play, and my talent grew and grew from there. And then eventually, my first love was production. I always wanted to produce and just make music and that kind of thing. So before I started singing or anything like that, that's what I used to be doing. It was out of luck. If you want to know the real story,
we want to know the real story. This is open chest, darling. There's no holes barred here.
What happened was there was a song I made, Kini Sohi, when I was 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I sang in the song. I was 15 years old, and it was my first time I ever decided to sing on a song just to see what would happen. And the reason I made that song was because one of my friends in high school sent me Dr. Seuss's album, and they said, I know you make music, but you can't do this. So I was like, what?
Challenge.
What did you say to me? And then I made that song, and I sent it to, I knew this friend of mine, Disha, who knew a radio DJ in UK.
Yeah.
That track got sent there, and it was the #1 demo of that year, right?
Wow.
And I was getting all these calls and saying, who's this guy? What is this guy? And I was like, what is going on here? So
it was almost by accident, right?
yeah, yes, no, because I did put work into it, right?
Yeah.
But since that day, I knew that I had something special here, and that from that day, it just grew and grew and grew into what it is today.
What would you call it, your sound, your voice?
Voice, it is fusion. It is an East and Western kind of thing, but I would say it's New Age Bhangra, if I had to say anything. That's what I would say our sound is, because it's fusion, but there's a lot of fusion bands out there. But the thing that we do, I love everybody. I know how hard it is to get to this point.
Yeah.
But our sound is something so different. I could listen to, if we made a beat in the studio and somehow I got into an accident and I forgot that beat, and someone played me 2 beats, I would be able to tell which one is ours and whose is, somebody else's, because there's something special about what we do. Yeah.
And I think that part of what's special that you guys do is that all three of you bring a different element of uniqueness.
Yeah.
And you when you fuse it together, it has its own uniqueness, which is separate from all three of you as individual artists. I'm telling you that my man sitting right there, I would never think, looking at him, that he'd be able to bust out the hardcore Punjabi vocals. But when I heard you a few days ago, busting it out with just a microphone and no fabulous machinery. If my eyes were closed, I would have thought that I was in a pind in Punjab when I was listening to you.
Awesome.
That's how authentic your sound was. Where did that all come from for you?
It's a really weird and funny story. I didn't want to be a singer or be into music. I was studying to be a CA, but my family always been in music. My dad used to sing, not as professionally, but every party we would go to, they would make my dad sit and tell him, Uncle Ji, sing,
Yes.
So he had an amazing voice. My mom sings really well too. I just never, I'm like, no, I want to be a CA. I want to make big money, and but it was always into me that I could sing.
Yeah.
But then I started, making music and sort of put my songs out there, to impress girls in high
Yes.
school and stuff. And then from there, it was just fun for me. And then my dad passed away 12 years ago, and I used to miss him, and I used to sing his songs. And that got me into, okay, you know what, maybe I should make a song to dedicate to my dad.
Oh.
And that's how it started. I made a song,
Yeah.
and people loved it. My friend loved it, and they're like, you should pursue and make some more music. At that time when I met Lomaticc, he sent me an email saying, hey man, I heard your song from a friend of mine. Why don't we just, get together and work together? And we became very close friends, like brothers.
Yeah.
Started making music together, and then I got introduced to Baba Khan, and then
The rest is history, baby.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the future. What are we going to be looking forward to specifically in 2014? You mentioned, Baba, that last year was really the big prep year for you guys to really take it to a whole other level this year. What is that whole other level? Talk to me.
I mean, it's a different elevation of all three. I mean, Culture Shock is a brand. It's a brand of all three that we all created. So, but like you've been touching on, it's unique. There's three unique styles here. So Sunny, obviously, as an artist, wants to get out what Sunny is, the Punjabi, the Bollywood, and Lomas has the soul, his R&B. Me, as a DJ, there's a certain production style that I like, and working with different artists as well. So Culture Shock right now will release an album, full album. It's all Culture Shock fusion. Then you're going to get another EP, which is Lomaticc, where he's doing his R&B and his just low. And sometimes low is all over the place, but his sound and his uniqueness production is killer tight. So it's going to be one ridiculous album. You're going to love it. Sunny is just like the voice, just like I'm getting chills because this man is just powerful. So when you hear his music, you're going to get it. So not only are you going to get a Culture Shock album, you're going to get the EP from Sunny, Low. You'll get me working with other artists as well coming out, and so this is all coming out in 1 year, not in like two. It's not coming out. It's all coming out in 1 year. So the prep is basically all albums, all songs, everything in one big bang, and just to destroy everybody, just to say we are here. We're not going anywhere. We're foundation, and if you try and step to us, you'll get finished.
So, you've got all these releases coming out. What is your marketing strategy based on the fact that your fans clearly are, all over the world? Like, how are you going to market all of this to the world?
We have our manager, Rink, who's really careful with promotions and marketing. And as a team, we sit down. You talked earlier about how we mesh. Sometimes you don't mesh. And marketing those things is one of the key things. We have different beliefs in how we get to do things. So each person's album, they kind of get to do more of their own thing.
We're actually working with a team in UK, so they're going to handle just UK.
Yes.
Then we have a team in Punjab, India, who's going to handle just Punjab, not India. And then we have another team in Bombay, in Delhi, who's going to handle Delhi and Mumbai. So you can just by yourself staying in one place. It's hard. But if you have these teams that are actually working with you, pushing your material and taking care of the local marketing, it helps a lot. We actually have street teams in so many different countries that just do just that. Just take your song and push it. Social media helps us so much. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all this combined. That's how we always did that since the beginning. Social media was a heavy part, and also we give our music sometimes for free because we want people to listen to it. That helps you to capture more audience, and in return you get more shows, which is usually
it's a nice little payoff.
It's a payoff because selling music is a tough thing right now. We sell, and a lot of our success came on free music. But when we initially released our free album, we toured like 200 days out of the year. It was ridiculous, and people were like, "You guys are touring all over the place." But it was because we didn't. I guess in hindsight, we didn't actually think about the money part. We thought it was passion for us initially when we did it.
You know what I find really unique and different about you guys, other than the fact that you have individual sounds that are actually one big sound, is the fact that, you know, you guys actually put your music out independently through your own label. So why did you decide to go that route? Because I know that you have tremendous network base, you know, with the big boys, but you decided not to go that route. Talk to me about why you decided to do it this way.
Well, you know what I found out earlier, and in all fairness, we did it independently because we saw the success of doing it independently. And in today's day and age, record labels are not going to get behind you. They're going to see the success you have done by yourself, and then they will get behind you. And we had people come and want to get behind us, and we tried for a little bit, but we realized very quickly, but their perception of success is different than ours. We have a vision, and someone else has a vision. Their vision is clouded because they weren't there from the step one. So we have an idea of where we want to go. So we found very quickly that bringing an outsider into what we're trying to do was messing up things, and there wasn't this constant flow with all of us. So we thought, okay, let's do it on our own, and in doing so, you realize you become a stronger business person with it, especially these guys, marketing, writer, you just become a more wise person. And the music and the entertainment industry is tough. You know this, you know how tough it is. It is an up and down battle. So you have to learn to ride the waves, and if you can learn to ride the good and the bad, you will have success for the rest of your life, especially as an artist, right? So doing our own label was something that we had to do, and I was very important, and even getting other artists into it, right? And I'm talking a lot of different artists that want to come in, but it's got to be the right fit that would come with the crew. I mean, Lo will produce for them, Sunny will produce for them as well. These guys, produce as well for everybody. So all these things have to fit the right puzzle, and like you have to say, like, we're not always going to get along. You know what I mean? So we're not. That's human nature. You can't see eye to eye, but sometimes what you have to do, especially when you have your own label, is understand that everybody's their own person, their own identity, and a real record label, bigs, they don't care. You're just a number. So we wanted to keep it back. We wanted to take it back home where you're in touch with someone and you really, really appreciate who they are and respect the artist.
You know, it's interesting because there's kind of a trade-off. Whichever way you go, if you decide to go with, you know, your own independent way of putting it out there, the push and the struggle and the challenge is momentous, right? Because you don't have that distribution network that the big boys have. But then on the other side with the big boys, you know, they're only signing like the 360 deals today, where they want a piece of everything, including your underwear, right? So based on that and just the state of the music industry being that no one buys music anymore, what is your business strategy here?
You know, you touched on that. I want to say it's funny because our biggest hit, one of our biggest hits, was a track called X'd Up. And when we initially sat down with the record label, they heard the track and they were like, literally, they played it for 30 seconds and they chucked it. This track did like 6 million views and it was downloaded like crazy, and the record label came on later to vibe it and get into it and stuff like that. So when you talk about the stuff and you talk just about the strategy of something, what's the strategy of putting something out, it's really following our heart and what we like.
So what I want to ask you is that, you know, based on all these collaborations, and clearly you guys know where you're going, you know what you're all about, and you know that you're here to stay. You've got, you know, the South Asian scene, you've got the mainstream scene, you guys are kind of in between in terms of your sound. You know, again, I'm going to ask you, who is your audience? Like, what is your marketing strategy for the audience out there? Are you going to do a big mainstream push, or are you looking at going to those key pockets where South Asians are, or are you going to see where your music actually resonates and target it more there?
I think when we release these songs, whichever area, wherever it goes really big, then we'll know how and where to push those songs, and we'll use that momentum to make it even bigger and better.
We know our market. I can tell you right now, Pakistan is huge, Europe is huge, you know, then the States, and then Canada fourth. Canada. But
that's not bad.
That's not bad because of our population, and so we know stronger. We're smart enough to know when people are on our Facebook, when they're downloading, when our Twitter's trending really well, when to post up something. We go deep and detailed into our marketing strategy, so we know that if we put a track out at this time, at this period, because the last 6 years of trending, that this track is going to get downloaded heavy in Pakistan. I know when I put a podcast, or we know when we're adding a podcast out there, that 26,000 people are going to download it from India. We're very well aware because we've done it all ourselves.
So, obviously you guys know what you're doing, and you've been around now for 6 years. 6 years doesn't sound relatively a long period of time, but in this industry, 6 years is a lifetime.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I know that this is just the beginning for you guys. I want to ask all of you one question that I want each one of you to answer. And this is my last question to you guys, and I want to close off with your guys' words, not with mine. Okay. So, starting with you, Sunny, and this is my question. Why should someone be a fan of Culture Shock?
What I believe is because, first of all, we make music because we genuinely love it. I make music, obviously, my fans, but I firstly make it so it makes me happy. If I make something that touches my heart, it's gonna touch other people's heart, 100%.
Absolutely.
And that's why, when we first started this, I didn't start for YouTube views or anything. I just started this for my own personal, I wanted to see if I can actually achieve it, make music and, and see what happens. So, that's why fans, they come to us because of, first of all, we are very down-to-earth people, and we make music that's very, we're humble people, and our music is, it's just, you don't see it in other areas, You won't never see Sunny Brown, Babakan, and Lomaticc mixture combo music anywhere else. And I think that's our unique sound is what attract our fans, and I think that's why if they want something cool, if they want something unique, if they want the best mixture of Punjabi and English, then they gotta come to Culture Shock.
All right. How about you, Lo?
I mean, he touched on everything else, but like, basically, I think it's because Culture Shock is independent, and like he was saying, we don't have a major record label behind us that's telling, oh, market it this way, push it this way. It's literally what we like, and I think that's what keeps it so real.
And how about you, Baba?
You know what? It's just real. It is. It's just three guys who just putting out real music, and that means anybody can do it, and that's really what it is. It's just passionate guys about music, and there's no other story to it. It's just, that's it. Plain and simple, three dudes in a basement who like music, and when they don't like music, they fight. And when they do like music, they hug. And when they put something out, we all believe in it, and at the end of the day, if you want something that's real and from genuine, it's from our heart, because it really is. And when a song doesn't do well for us, I can tell you it's because it wasn't genuine from us.
This is just the beginning, and I know that so many fabulous things are going to happen for you guys because you really are real.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my darlings.
Bye.